Welcome to Still Mind Suttas. Today's episode turns to a teaching from the early Buddhist text that speaks directly to one of the most human experiences we know, meeting fear. In this discourse, the Buddha recalls his own journey with solitude, uncertainty, and the mind's reactions when we find ourselves alone with our thoughts. It's a story about courage, but not the dramatic kind. Rather, the steady courage that grows from clarity, honesty, and the willingness to face our inner world as it is. As you listen, I invite you to settle your breath, soften your attention, and let the story open a quiet space within you. In this discourse, the Buddha is staying near Savath, in Jada's grove at Anathapindika's monastery. One day, the Brahmin Janasonan visits him. After exchanging respectful greetings, he sits to one side and asks a sincere question. He wants to know whether those who leave the household life to follow the Buddha take him as their leader, their helper, their source of inspiration, whether the Buddha is truly the example they look to. The Buddha answers simply that this is true. Those who go forth out of conviction in him take him exactly in that way, as leader, helper, inspirer, and example. Hearing this, the Brahmin voices a concern. He says that living alone in forests or wilderness places is not easy. Seclusion is difficult to maintain. Solitude is hard to enjoy. And the forests, he says, overwhelm the mind of anyone who has not gained deep concentration. The Buddha agrees. He says that even before his awakening, when he was still a bodhisattva, one training toward enlightenment, he had recognized the same challenge. Wilderness dwellings are difficult. They unsettle anyone who has not yet settled the mind. He then recalls his own reflection from that earlier time. He had considered that when a contemplative with unpurified bodily conduct goes into the wilderness, it is that lack of purity that gives rise to fear and terror. But he saw clearly that his own bodily conduct was purified. Knowing this, he felt more confident about staying alone in remote places. He applied the same reflection to his speech, to his mental conduct, and to his livelihood. Whenever others became afraid due to unskillful qualities, he recognized that those qualities were not present in himself. Seeing this purity gave him courage. He then examined the deeper unskillful states that disturb the mind. He reflected that fear grows in those who are covetous for sensual pleasures, but he was not covetous. Fear troubles those with ill will, but he cultivated goodwill. Fear arises in those overcome by sloth and drowsiness, but he was free of these. Fear troubles the restless, but his mind was stilled. Those who doubt become shaken. He had gone beyond uncertainty. One by one, he reviewed each unskillful tendency, praising oneself while disparaging others, panic and dread, desire for fame, laziness, unestablished mindfulness, lack of concentration, and even foolishness. With each reflection, he saw that these qualities did not exist in him. Instead, he possessed their opposites: modesty, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and discernment. Recognizing this strengthened his resolve. Then, as a further training, he asked himself, what if he deliberately sought out places that were awe-inspiring and frightening, shrines in forests, lonely trees, and other places known to make the hair stand on end, especially on the sacred nights of the lunar cycle? Maybe there he would meet fear directly. So on later occasions he went to such places. And in the stillness of the night, when a wild animal moved, or a twig snapped, or leaves rustled, the thought would arise, is this fear coming? Soon he realized that waiting for fear only fed it. Instead, he resolved to meet fear in whatever posture he was in. If fear arose while he was walking, he continued walking until the fear subsided. If while standing, he remained standing. If sitting, he continued sitting. If lying down, he stayed lying down. In each case, he did not change his posture, until he had fully subdued the fear and terror that appeared. He then explains another principle. Some contemplatives perceive day as night and night as day. This, he says, is dwelling in delusion, but he perceives day as day and night as night. If someone were to say that a being free of delusion has arisen in the world for the welfare and happiness of humans and devas, that person would be speaking rightly about him. The Buddha then describes the inner qualities that supported his progress. His persistence was unwavering, his mindfulness steady, his body calm and unaroused, his mind unified. He then recalls his own reflection from that earlier time. He had considered that when a contemplative with unpurified bodily conduct goes into the wilderness, it is that lack of purity that gives rise to fear and terror. But he saw clearly that his own bodily conduct was purified. Knowing this, he felt more confident about staying alone in remote places. With seclusion from sensuality and unskillful qualities, he entered the first jhana, a meditative absorption filled with rapture and pleasure born of withdrawal, accompanied by directed thought and evaluation. When these quieted, he entered the second jhana, deeper in stillness, unified, free of thought, sustained by inner assurance. As rapture faded, he remained mindful and equanimous, experiencing a serene pleasure. This was the third jhana. Finally, with the abandoning of pleasure and pain, and the fading of joy and distress, he entered the fourth jhana, a state of pure equanimity and mindfulness. With the mind this still and bright, he turned it toward understanding the past. He recalled many previous lives, one after another, across vast stretches of cosmic time, their names, families, experiences, pleasures and pains, and how each life ended, followed by another arising. This knowledge arose in the first watch of the night. In the second watch, he directed his concentrated mind to seeing how beings pass away and reappear. With the divine eye, he saw beings rising and falling according to their actions, some reborn in states of deprivation due to harmful conduct, others rising to fortunate realms through wholesome deeds done with right view. In the final watch, he contemplated the ending of the effluents, the destructive outflows that bind beings to suffering. He directly understood stress, its origin, its cessation, and the path leading to its cessation. Seeing this clearly, his mind was released from the defilements of sensuality, becoming, and ignorance. Knowing this release, he recognized that the holy life had been fulfilled and that there was nothing further for him to do in the world. After recounting this, the Buddha turns back to the Brahman's question. If one imagines that he dwells in the wilderness because he is not free from passion, aversion, or delusion, that is mistaken. Instead, he does so for two compelling reasons: the peace it provides in the present and out of compassion for future generations, offering them an example of the path. Hearing this, Janasonan is deeply moved. He compares the Buddha to one who lifts up what has fallen, reveals what was hidden, shows the way to those who are lost, or brings a lamp into darkness so that others may see. He takes refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, announcing that from that day forward, he will be a lay follower. He then recalls his own reflection from that earlier time. He had considered that when a contemplative with unpurified bodily conduct goes into the wilderness, it is that lack of purity that gives rise to fear and terror. But he saw clearly that his own bodily conduct was purified. Knowing this, he felt more confident about staying alone in remote places. Thank you for spending this time with Still Mind Suttas. The heart of this teaching reminds us that fear doesn't always have to be pushed away or avoided. Sometimes it softens when we meet it with steadiness, by staying present, staying embodied, and noticing the qualities of mind that either unsettle us or support us. You might carry this into daily life by pausing the next time tension rises, feeling your posture, your breath, and the exact state of mind you're in. No fixing, just seeing clearly. Over time, this simple awareness becomes its own form of protection and grounding. If these reflections support your practice, you're welcome to return for more readings and teachings from the early texts. And if you'd like to follow along with future episodes, feel free to subscribe. May your practice be steady, gentle, and nourishing in the days ahead.